watched 500 hours of some nerds playing Dungeons & Dragons and I've decided to make it my entire personality for 2 months.
So Halloween has arrived. It may have come and gone by the time that some of you are watching this, which means it's time for my annual struggle of going through my list of dozens of cosplans and picking out one that I can manage to pull together in time. And if you can't tell by the title, I settled on Laudna from Critical Role because, man, they weren't lying. That fixation sure is hyper. I'm not gonna do super long of an intro because I just want to show you guys how cool this thing turned out and how I managed to make it look as cool as it did. Let's just get right into it. Let's go. The first thing I did was hit up 2 different thrift stores because I did not own a long black skirt previously, somehow. I feel like it should be a wardrobe staple. I tried on like 5 different things before I finally settled on something I liked. Also found this cute pink one that I didn't take with me, but it was just really cute and I also had to show it off. This is what I actually got.
This is actually perfect. I don't even have to like tie the drawstring. It just sits in a good place. So I think we got it. I think we got the skirt. Oh, and it has pockets.
I also bought a couple of other things for future projects because somebody just donated their entire Loki cosplay. Like, look at this. That's really cool. I took this brown wig home and washed it, and I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but it's really nice. A friend of my mom gave me these web-like pieces of fabric that I used to layer the skirt. I put one that reached all the way down, one that kind of hung around like a belt, and the other was attached directly to my belt because Laudna has this little string where her scissors and her thread and pate used to reside. I love this element a lot because it just gave it a lot of texture. It was nice to run my fingers over it when I was sitting down, and it looked less flat, you know? This is how I attached the white strand to the belt. The end result was a lot longer than the test run, but you simply just wrap it around a couple of times and then knot it so it doesn't fall out. Easy peasy.
This is our base costume. It really just needs all the accessorizing and the hair and makeup. That's basically the whole idea.
The only issue I'm having while planning this out is not something that I feel is absolutely necessary, but something that I want to do. How the hell am I gonna make pate? So guess who was an idiot and left their tripod back at their place? It's me, I'm the idiot. We got a lot of stuff to accomplish in a very short amount of time, and hopefully I am going to get it all done today. We'll see. We'll see. The metal. Oh my god, that clanged so loud. One of the elements that I made over my fall break was the rock pick that is in Laudna's bun. I used this little metal rod and some tin foil to create the shape. I later replaced the metal rod with a stick that I found because the rod just didn't fit into the hair the way I wanted it to. I sculpted the foil and I covered it in the Sculpey clay that I used for my bookshelf insert that has the rock-like texture. I love that clay so much. It's so pretty, and it bakes really well too. This took about 15-20 minutes to cure in the oven, and I had to leave a hole open, as you will see in a bit, so it could attach to the stick part more easily.
This is gonna take some experimentation because I have no idea if this is going to work or not. We got a body, and the head's gonna be made with this stuff. The pate charm took 3 different tries to make. This first one was my test run, and I wasn't expecting it to look the way that I wanted it to. I simply rolled a ball of clay into the shape of a crow's skull, and I used this puffball as the rat body. And then, I used a little bit of black clay to make the eye sockets because there was no way I was carving that out, and used a little bit of string over here to make a tail, which did not work, as you will see in a second. Then I used hot glue to fasten it all together. Oh boy. Oh my god, look at how derpy it is. The problem with the rat tails is that they were way too thin, and the globs of glue that I was using just made the whole thing a mess. So I decided to abandon them. So we moved on to attempt number 2. This one, you'll see in a second, it holds a special place in my heart because it wasn't the final pate, but it was just so silly compared to the other one. Like, just look at that beak shape. That's like curved. That's not how it's supposed to look, but I love it so much. Look at his little face. This one looks like his name is Snorkel. He's a little lopsided, but we still love him. I had to restrain myself from making so many of these charms. If I had the time and resources to make a bunch, I so would. This final pate was the best out of all of its predecessors and was the one that I ended up using as the accessory to my costume. I think this is the best shape I've got so far. Ugh, they're all so lopsided though. Give me pate sibling name suggestions in the comments, I don't know. In place of a rat tail string, I decided to use red ribbon around their necks like little bow ties to hold them together. The plan was to tie them into little bows and attach them to my fingers to puppeteer it, kind of like Laudna does in the early episodes before pate comes to life. The first one was just me figuring out how I was able to knot it without getting the head off. Easy peasy. Just double knot it really carefully and then bow it. Snorkel's tie was lopsided just like he is, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Oh no, baby! Oh baby! And this is what Pate's bow tie looked like. Again, you have to be really slow and steady to make sure that the clay or the glue doesn't rip off. But once you do it, it is adorable. In like half a second, you're gonna see me freak out at how absolutely cute that I made this thing. Oh my god! Oh my god, look at him. Everybody shut up and look at him. Oh my god. Hello everyone, it's your old pal Pate. Oh my god. They're so cute. Shut up. At last, Pate and his brothers were complete. I decided to keep all 3 of them as decorations around my room because I got emotionally attached to the duds. Just look at them. They cannot be separated. Also, I fastened the hammer together. This, of course, wasn't the final one, as you will see when the wig is fastened, but it worked pretty well for its intended purposes. Ah, gosh, falling everywhere. Not a thing. This is one of 2 packages that I'm supposed to be receiving this costume. I don't know why they used so much packaging for just the one little... Oh my gosh! They're so pretty! Oh, look at these. They're so cute. I'm gonna need to put them on. I gotta figure out how to do this. Okay, I tied my hair back so you can see it better, but these just don't sit well. They're really not in a comfortable position for my ears, and a lot of the reviews on them said the same, and I really should have looked more carefully. I just bought the first thing I saw, and that's not a thing you do. I literally have no time to return these and get a replacement that actually will fit. So, you live, you learn, I guess.
Live and learn I did. After trying to adjust these things to actually fit, I snapped them. And I also snapped inside. I spent a good part of my evening holding this together with Gorilla Glue, and once my fingers were no longer sticky, I decided to move on to something equally as frustrating, sewing the lining onto my blouse. This took 3 days. What better day to start sewing stuff together than 12 days before Halloween, when the Wi-Fi is out. I don't know when my wig's gonna get here. I'm waiting for the glue to cure, and I just literally can't do anything else better with my time. Oh god, it's so uneven. Nothing I can really do about that at this point, but okay. My wig materials arrived 3 days before the event I was supposed to go to. This is from Arta Wigs. It is a grace in ash black, and there's a gray extension that I used for Laudna's white streak because there was no white available. It was very soft and I couldn't stop touching it and was really hesitant to style it, but I had work to do, so work I did. Let's get to work, girlies! I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about this. See goosies? I need to... There aren't. Have you seen my pumpkin that I made on a whim last night? Because I thought it would be fun to have a little pumpkin that matched my costume. I think it's cute. This wig was incredibly thick and incredibly curly, so it took me about 45 minutes to straighten it. It didn't get all of the curls out, but it created a messy effect that I think I would see on an undead witch if I were to encounter one in the woods. I'm very satisfied with how it turned out. There's a little clip at the end that shows how long that it is once it's straightened, because this was a pretty long wig even when it was curled. Like, it reached about my mid-back. Once the wig was straightened, I clipped in the gray streak and started styling the updo. It's like a half up, half down bun, and I'm not very good at updos, so it took a couple of tries to gather enough hair and swirl it around correctly. Then I also had to stick in the rock pick, and that required a heck ton of pins to stay all together. I was doing this while my roommate was on her bed playing Zelda, and once I showed her it when it was all done, she was in awe. So, because it has the Sam seal of approval, I'm gonna say I did a pretty good job.
It's party night. I'm so excited. I'm about to sit and do my makeup, and I am a little worried because I didn't test this. So if I mess this up, oh well. This is bald time. Bald time.
The base of this makeup look was some cheap grease paint from Walmart. It wasn't a super vibrant white, but it was enough to make me look paler and undead. Which says a lot because I'm already very white and very pale. You will see throughout this video that my skin is so bright that it messes with the lighting focus a lot. Sorry, photosensitive viewers. Flash warning. Also, this didn't give my skin an allergic reaction because I have very sensitive skin. I was in the middle of an acne breakout when I was putting this on, and somehow it hit it semi-well, and it didn't make more pimples. So I'm gonna call that a win. I do not recommend buying this because it was very frustrating to get on everywhere because sometimes I couldn't tell whether or not it was showing up. I used some light gray eyeshadow to contour my cheekbones, nose, and collarbones to make myself look a little more sickly and a little more thin. Again, I'm also incredibly thin, but because my skin is nearly solid white, I figured some gray would be more appropriate than regular contour powder for this. I also used this gray eyeshadow to emphasize the dark circles under my eyes. My lids were covered in a shadowy purple. I love this color so much I use it for everything. And then I used a regular solid black to create Laudna's beauty mark on her cheek. I feel like I almost forgot that element. Then I used a pale purple on my lips to make them look cold and dead, and then I threw on my mascara and my eyebrows because I forgot about them until the very last second, and thank goodness I remembered because they really pulled it together.
Okay, there we go. It's closer to the wig color. Which brings me to my next step. The ears and the hair. I'm worried. Still on. I'm pausing the camera to put my hair on because I'm just worried. Oh my god! This is amazing! Wait. I got it. Oh my god. I'm so happy. It looks good. Yes! Oh my goodness, I'm so stoked. Oh, if people don't love this as much as I do, I'm gonna be upset, but I think they will. And next step, we go to the party.
It is now the afternoon after the Halloween party that I debuted at, and it was a hit.
Reaction time.
Nobody really recognized exactly who I was, and just assumed I was a really scary British witch. But it's okay, it got the point across. I'm just thrilled that I managed to pull it together in time and that It looked so good. I'm excited to wear it again for a little bit on Halloween Day and make even more people uncomfortable with my undead presence. Thanks for watching the video. Like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you feel so inclined to do, and have a very wonderful holiday. Bye!